Today we're going to talk about how to put a price on your photography or video work. This is a very complicated topic, so I'm going to try to cover all the basics, and I'm going to make a hypothetical person to use as an example. Now, there are a lot of people who are afraid to ask for money because they don't know how much their services are worth, or they don't want to get turned down from people rejecting the amount that they give them. But I can tell you right now, the absolute worst thing you can do is try to be the cheapest person in town. That never works. If I charge $200 for a service and you charge $100 for a service, you literally have to do twice the work as me, and it's going to take you twice as long to make the same amount of money. So that's just not a smart thing to do. And if you know anything about this business, you know that more work in less time means you'll burn out a lot faster. So let's make a hypothetical person that doesn't know how much to charge, and let's name them Fred. Let's say Fred has a Canon T5i with the kit lens, and he also bought a 50mm 1.8. He works a part-time job, makes $600 a month, and lives at home with his parents. He has a car that was passed down from his parents, but he pays for gas, and he also has to pay for some food and his phone bill. Of course, the first thing in business is you have to cover your expenses. There are two types of people. There are people who want to do this full-time, and there are people who want to do this to make money on the side. So you have to determine, do you want to make this a career, or do you want to make this something for extra income? You need to be able to pay for all the things you need to survive. That's your housing, your transportation, food, etc. And if you have a job already and this is something that you're going to do for extra income, then your expenses are probably already paid for by your normal job. So in Fred's case, let's say he pays $120 a month on gas for the car, he pays $80 a month for his phone bill, and he spends $200 a month on food. So Fred has about $200 left over every month after he pays for his expenses. Now let's go over the cost of covering your equipment. Your equipment is obviously critical to you, and like say if your camera breaks and you're doing this full time and you don't have a camera, you're out of business. So you need to be able to cover the cost of your equipment while you're running. A method that I like to use for this is to rent your equipment from yourself. So if you invested into a $2,000 camera, then you need to rent that $2,000 camera from yourself. So in Fred's case, he has a Canon T5i. Right now at the moment, to rent a Canon T5i is about $45 a week. So every week that Fred uses his T5i, he should pay himself $45. That is the return on the investment that you made for your equipment, and it helps cover the cost of your equipment if something happens to that camera. So make sure you cover your expenses and make sure you cover your equipment. And the last thing you have to make sure you cover is your future. I'm pretty sure nobody wants to get stuck in the position they're in. You want to be able to afford new equipment, you want to be able to get that new house that you want, or the new car, you want to be able to go on vacations, you want to be able to live how you want to live, basically. So we're going to call this section the profit section. This is after all the expenses are paid and all the equipment is covered. Now you can use this number to figure out how long it's going to take you to get from point A to point B. So if you make $1,000 in profit at the end of the year and you want to buy a $300,000 house, you know at that rate it will take you 300 years to pay for that house. And that's just not feasible. That doesn't make any sense. So you need to make more profit. So let's say the current goals for Fred at the moment is to move out of the house and get an apartment, and to upgrade his camera to a Sony a7 III, and he wants to get a 24-70 2.8 lens for that camera. Now with the extra money that Fred has left over every month, the $200 that we talked about earlier, it would take him 21 months to pay for that camera setup. And that's without buying anything else. All the money is going to that camera setup. So that's almost 2 years of waiting for a camera and a lens, and there's zero chances of getting an apartment. So obviously Fred needs to make more money, and let's see how much more money Fred needs to make to reach his goals. Now Fred wants to go full time with this, so we need to replace the money that he's making in his current job. The $600 he makes every month, he needs to make from his camera work. So let's say with all of his expenses and the average rent cost in America for just a basic apartment, let's say his expenses every month come out to be $2,000. Now, if you add the camera setup that he's trying to get in the future, and I would say a year is a good amount of time to save up for a camera. So let's divide the cost of the camera by 12 months. And when you put that together, he has about $2,350 that Fred needs to make every month to pay his bills, to pay for his apartment, and to fund a new camera. Now that you know the amount of money that you need to make, you can figure out, okay, how can I get that done? In Fred's case, let's say he has enough time to do 3 paid shoots a week. That's 12 paid shoots every month. So if you know you need $2,350 every month, and you know you can do 12 shoots, that means each one of those shoots had to have an average cost of $195. That means Fred needs to be doing photography work at about $195. Some shoots might be more, some shoots might be a little less, but the average amount of each shoot has to be $195. Anything less than that and Fred is not reaching his goals. Now, I think the most important thing to add to that is if you know that your average cost of your work has to be $195, you have to make sure that your work is worth $195. So you have to offer people $195 worth of work to make sure that it's worth it. Let's say your numbers came out to be an average of $1,000 per shoot to cover your goals. You need to make sure that the shoots you're doing are worth $1,000. So you can't just charge people whatever you want just because that's what you need. You need to make sure that you give the people that much worth of work. Now, how do you know if you can charge that much? Charge it and find out. If 3 people will pay for your service, 4 people will pay for your service. You just need to find more of those type of people. Every client is not your client. And I have a whole video I'm gonna link down below on how to get clients. Also, you have to be aware of market value. Now, I'm not gonna get into why some shoots cost more than others, but let's say the average cost of a wedding photographer in your area is $3,000. You might only need $195 per shoot on average, but that doesn't mean you charge $195 for that wedding shoot just because that's all you need. If the market value is $3,000 for that type of shoot, you go get that $3,000. If you do one shoot like that, that covers the whole month of your expenses. So any other thing that you do that month is just putting you ahead for next month. That's just like if you was trying to get your car fixed and you know somebody down the street that wants to fix your car for $200. But if you take your car to the shop, they might charge you $2,000. But you have to understand that shop has to pay for the shop and all of the workers and any other expenses that that shop has that the person down the street doesn't have. So you can't really compare prices that way. You have to get what you need to survive. So since the car shop has to charge more than the person down the street, they're gonna be able to offer you things like faster service, higher quality work, and probably even a warranty on that work. So make sure when you're charging more, you're giving people a higher quality and higher grade work or a better service or something that they won't be able to get from somebody that charges less. Another thing to remember is that art is unique. You can have 1,000 photographers in the room and get 1,000 different pictures because everyone sees things differently. So if you have work that somebody wants, they literally can't go anywhere else to get it but you. If you want a Picasso painting, you literally have to get it from Picasso or it's not a Picasso painting. So that alone gives your work more value because it's unique. That brings another point in making sure you have your own style and you're doing things your own way and not worrying about what everyone else is doing. I also have a video I'm going to link down below that talks all about how to develop your own style. So to recap on how much to charge for your work, you have to make sure you account for all of your expenses, all of your equipment, and where you want to be in the near and long-term future. So once you know how much you need to make, all you have to do now is put in the effort to make sure that your work is worth that much, and you need to figure out what ways you can bring in that income. If you have time to do more shoots, then you can charge a little less for each session. If you have the time to do less shoots, then you know you need to focus on the higher price shoots, so you need to put together higher price packages. Now I know we can get so much deeper into this subject and I just wanted to cover the basics in this video. So if you have any extra questions, you can leave them down below and I'll either leave a comment or I'll make another video or something like that. So make sure you leave a comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you guys next time.